Jim Hicks, Rob Hatter. You are now tuned in to the Chop Shop. I'm Retro. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. Yeah, it's lit in the Chop Shop. Turn your dials up in the drop top. They ain't based in debate, but they keep it fact straight. Going 30 for 30. Let's do a first take on Facebook Live from 12 to 2. Rob Hatter and Jim Hicks going back and forth like Carter Ray and Skip Bayless and Stephen Smith. From on the court, off the court, straight to the field. Not a man that steals, but I made it steal to the octagon where I fight to kill. We go face to face, then you write your will. I don't play tennis, but I bring the racket. I'm on the floor, I attack the basket, put you in the casket when I'm overlapping. Never showing mercy, cause I'm always snapping. Never showing mercy when I'm in the arena. Step into the ring, he hit me as I beat him. Step into the court, I'm never backing down. Killing competition, I'm smacking down. Let me get back to the other stuff at the Chop Shop, cause they cutting up. It's Retro coming to you live to the Chop Shop. Now let's turn it up. Yeah, we in the Chop Shop, man. Shout out to Jim Hicks and Rob Hatter. You can catch the Chop Shop live from 12 to 2 on Facebook Live. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop.
H-Town, what's going on? It's the Chop Shop, your midday sports happy hour, the best 120 minutes of your day. Yours truly, Jim Hicks, and that's Robert Hatter. We're going to take you through a variety of topics today. Women Rock Wednesday. Shout out to all of the ladies out there. How you ladies doing? Let's get this thing popping right now, early and on. But college basketball has to start off the show today. And shortly, we're going to provide you guys, of course, women, don't worry. We got some Women Rock Wednesday topics for you as well. And if you're just tuning in, the first 5 viewers that log on today will be acknowledged at the end of the show and our starting 5. That's for you first-time viewers. Meanwhile, let's get this thing popping in college basketball. All headlines cannot avoid the topic of what happened last night in Lawrence, Kansas.
Should I show it?
And we're going to get right into it and you can let everybody form their own thoughts.
Okay.
Let's check, pause what you're doing, watch this.
The man who shot he blocked, and now it is beyond. People in Fog Allen, they're watching the game, and this is the moment where obviously you think, oh, goodness gracious, please don't let that happen. As De Sousa picked up the stool, now Tim McCormick, who's a huge guy, appears to be stomping on someone who's down on the ground, and now you've got Love. You see Bill Self in the midst of it trying to restore order and calm his guys down. Everyone walks off.
Jimmy, wow.
So, and as it stands shortly within the past hour, Kansas head coach Bill Self has announced that the university has suspended De Sousa indefinitely. So you've seen it. Of course, you gathered your thoughts. Now, remember this young man is the same young man whose name came up a couple of times. Well, came up during 2 different trials last year and the year before, pertaining to the Adidas and recruiting. His name came up, and he had to sit out. Remember, this is the same young man that was going to school at IMG at one of the high schools, one of the prep schools in Florida, and he left school at the mid-season break to come to Kansas and play. Was ruled and had to sit a while. So Kansas had to go through leaps and bounds of paperwork to get this young man eligible. Remember, the talent was obviously greater than the problem.
But Jimmy, we said Kansas had to go through leaps and bounds. Kansas was complicit in this situation, getting in eligible too now. So don't just put it all on the kid. Kansas was they were complicit in some of those implications also, though.
Yes, but to get him eligible, they had to go and put down paperwork and go and take a certain stance and go and and sue everything out and try to remember they got denied, file appeal, and do all this. So that means now, in doing so, you failed to address certain things. People wanted questions still arose, and the stunk clouded the whole country of college basketball, because many people have wondered then and still wonder now, how come at least four former college coaches, the only college coaches who were placed in handcuffs, happened to be African American, and none of the Caucasian coaches were ever placed in handcuffs, ever indicted, ever charged, ever even brought in as a witness for cross-examination or for testimonies in this stuff. So it's always been lingering. So now this young man is obviously, he's not the only suspension. He's going to be more.
Yeah. But Jimmy, the fight wasn't, the brawl wasn't as bad to me. You know, and I know, first of all, because I like to get back to the beginning of the fight. First of all, when you're running the clock down, this didn't happen a couple of times. You beat the brakes off somebody, and your coach telling you to just walk the ball down, and then a dude come try to steal the ball and get a cheap layup. You know, and I know a lot of people get on people talking about you can't blame the guy. But that was the match. That was the match that lit the fire, Jimmy. If that guy, it wasn't but a second left. This guy, y'all follow me. They running the clock down. The game is over. You got a guy trying to sneak and get him an extra point. I don't know, like the coaches said, selfishness, and I don't know. Even Bruce Weber said, man, I told them people to back off. We done got beat. What made this kid go do that? Some about that I don't like. Okay, he's the match that started, and also in De Sousa, they vilified him right now, but he went and blocked the dude's shot and stood over the dude. Maybe that was a problem, but the reason he grabbed that chair, because I went back and rewind that thing about 1 million times. The reason he grabbed that chair, because that heat the dude with the street clothes was putting on him. So he backed up away from that guy. Y'all got to watch this thing about 3 or 4. He backed up. He said, I got to pick up something, because that dude, I forget, he was one of the street clothes players from Kansas State. He was putting that heat on him. He backed up away from him and went and got a chair. Thank God Jarris Howard grabbed this guy and stopped him, and he dropped the chair immediately. Excuse me, it wasn't a full chair. It's that little bitty stool that they be sitting on during timeout. So it wasn't a big fold-up chair he had in his hand. But if you looked at any of the news stuff last night, I mean, Seth Davis almost criminalized the kid. So we have to stop letting people criminalize people like this. And then I saw little Case used to coach at HBU. They slung him around like a rag doll. I don't know if you watched it, Jimmy. He coached for Kansas. They slung him around like a rag doll. I can't wait to talk to him. But Jimmy, me and Truly, it was a lot of pushing and shoving. I was at a game last night, and me and you got a group text from someone. They act like it was just the worst thing in the world that happened. Nah, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad of a situation to me. So that's my take on it.
Well, two things that made two initial things or primary things that made it bad. Number one is the person who's involved, or one of the main persons that were involved. By it being DeSouza, by it being a guy who has a degree of baggage already with him, by it being Kansas and in this rivalry, and the second thing, which really might technically be the third thing, is the fact that over where the fight spilled over into, those were the seats right against that rail. They were going to the part where the handicapped people, where the wheelchairs, accessible seats. So they were infringing in that territory. So sometimes you think about it, and then the chair, of course, it's a stool, but really and truly, you get what the stool is more dangerous than the chair, because a chair, it's the way the chair made. It takes two hands.
But he did not throw it. That's why I don't want to be like them white folks on TV. He did not swing it. Intent is different. He did not swing it, Jimmy. I don't care what y'all say and what he did not swing it.
Okay,
he did not hit anybody with the chair.
Okay, so you go in the bank with the pistol, or you go in the store with the gun.
I'm not talking about the bank and the pistol.
You don't have to shoot.
You can't, excuse me, you can't go in a building with a gun anyway.
Al,
you're supposed to go in a building with a gun anyway.
If you go in there and you're going to rob it, there's a different degree of time. The sentencing guidelines are different if you have a pistol,
Jimmy,
if you have a weapon.
You got to hit somebody with something. He raised it. He didn't hit nobody. Jimmy, that's your take, and I'm going to be against your take and against everybody who take that take. I'm not going to agree with y'all.
That's a weapon. That stool becomes a weapon, no matter what he does with it or not.
Forget the bank. Forget the bank. It was some guys up in Richmond, Virginia, walking around, had a gun rally with guns on their shoulder and out in plain sight on Martin Luther King Day. They had guns in plain sight, and they wasn't arrested. So you talking about because a guy got a gun, you go in a bank. No, because you got a gun don't mean you're going to use it.
While you're committing a crime.
He didn't commit a crime.
You're talking about guys at a rally is not committing a crime.
But this guy,
committing an
incident. Jimmy, you use the parallel for crime. I don't think DeSouza, Jimmy, I don't think DeSouza committed a crime. Okay. You might have think.
Guess what? Scratch that. He did not commit a crime. He committed an incident. An incident. That's what it's called. So the incident, in the act of committing an incident, if you get a chair, it turns to a weapon. That's what it does. Bottom line. So at the same time,
that's in your point of view. I don't agree with that.
No,
I don't agree with that. I just don't. Jimmy, it's all right, Jimmy. I can't agree with that because I don't believe in it.
That's what I'm saying. What you're not agreeing with is something what I'm understanding you're saying you're not agreeing with is the reasoning, or if it what he was going to do, or the intent. It's no way to not agree with the fact that he held the chair in his hand. That's what I'm saying to you. That's it. So it's not you agreeing with the intent. Damn the intent. You turned the chair into a weapon.
But if I don't hit you, Jimmy, I can raise a chair at you all day long. If I don't hit you with it, what the hell?
How? Had punches been thrown before he picked up the chair?
Guess what?
Any punches been thrown?
Jimmy, punches was thrown. He was running from them punches. He went to get that chair for self-defense because that dude he was swinging at him so fast, he backed up. I'm just telling you. I mean, that I had the advantage of watching this thing at least 10 times. I'm not, because I don't want to hear the talking heads on here like you talking about, well, that was a weapon. If he go in that bank with a pistol, of course you go in a bank with a pistol. They gonna arrest you. This guy was not in the bank, Jimmy. He was running from them licks that dude was throwing at him, and he just went and picked up. Because guess what? He said, I can't whoop this guy. I'm finna pick up something to keep this guy off me. Go watch the thing more than one. The dude was kind of timid. The Sosa is really, to me, kind of weak. He ran, picked up a chair, and then didn't engage. And no, he didn't throw another punch. When he put the chair down, he didn't throw nothing else. So go watch the thing. Don't just go by what them people say on TV, man. Go back and look at that thing again. That's all I ask. That's all I ask.
I've watched it. I've watched the video several times. Bottom line is, when you are already on what you call on psychological probation, you already first of all, you already dirty as hell. He's dirty.
Not dirty. He just, the university is dirty. Excuse me. What? Hold on.
The university is not at risk of being suspended indefinitely. That's not the university being at risk of losing.
Didn't the university get a letter? Excuse me. Didn't the university get a letter from the NCAA talking about the infraction? They dirty.
Dude, he's dirty. What I'm talking about. His eligibility is already.
He ain't never hit nobody, Jimmy. He ain't never raised a chair before. All he did is take money like all of them doing up there.
Al, what you're saying is, think about what you're saying.
First I know what I'm saying.
Who does it matters. Who commits the act matters in this world. If that would have been a white kid, they would have brushed it and found a way to sue it down. Oh, he just didn't take his meds. Oh, he's a bad. It matters.
Would it? Could it be?
Do we want them just to say it?
Jimmy, think about it. I'm not worried about what they saying. I'm talking about a black man from Rosewood, Houston, from the north side, from Kashmere High School is saying it. I ain't worried about the white folks saying it. They gonna say what the hell they want to say. I'm talking about Jimmy Hicks from Kashmere High School, from 5th on Rosewood, you saying it. That's the problem that I have.
So you're saying the kid is right? So you're saying he's
I
right?
Didn't say. Not one time.
So you saying he shouldn't be suspended?
I didn't.
You saying he shouldn't be suspended?
I haven't talked about a suspension yet.
So that's all that's happened.
You said it, man, is dirty. I said the university is dirty. This the university that got the infractions. Hold on, Billy Preston. Paid Billy Preston, paid the rest of them guys. Hold on, can I go? This the same university that hires Snoop Dogg to come down and have strippers inside a Midnight Masses. This the same university who head coach put a big old gold chain, a fake gold chain around his hat and put his hat round backwards and do a video of like he's Snoop. All of them dirty. So you gonna vilify Sosa?
You just said all of them dirty. Who is all of them? Who includes all of them, Al?
Kansas.
You said
Kansas is dirty.
Okay, so before this young man stepped foot on Kansas's property as a student athlete,
Kansas was still dirty.
Documented and admitted in the court documents, and admitted that by one of the guys that he accepted a few $1,000s from Maryland, not Kansas at first. Then they paid it back.
You call that dirty? I call that getting some money.
That's what dirty means. That means you dirty. You riding dirty. You already riding dirty through this whole amateur basketball.
Kansas has been dirty a lot before this kid was born.
Still,
I guarantee you.
Kansas is going to be there. He's not. That's what the thing is. You're trying to compare him to the establishment. Every establishment out there is dirty.
Jimmy,
and for that fact of the matter,
we got a young guy from Angola, okay, living in the Midwest, Kansas. of course he gonna be the scapegoat. Of course, he gonna be the scapegoat. That's the point I'm trying to make with you. Yes, Seth Davis. I expect Seth Davis to say that about the kid. I don't expect it coming out of our community. That's all I'm saying. I expect Seth Davis to say it. I expect Paul Biancardi to say it. But me, I'm not going to say the things that they saying. I looked at the fight. I watched the brawl over and over and over and over again. And I said it was more pushing and hugging. And I said, is this what I rushed home? Because I rushed home because somebody texted me and said, man, it's a brawl. But when I watched it, could have been a lot worse. But these guys wasn't trying to, like Herb said, these guys were soft. These guys wasn't trying to fight. You guys weren't trying to fight. And guess what? That little kid, I got a question. So if the house done burned down, you know what killed me? Nobody talking about the person that lit the match. You probably don't even know his name, do you, Jim? The kid.
You say the person that lit the match.
The little kid, the guy who lit the match, the guy who started the whole exact thing. See, we ain't talking about him from Kansas State.
Understand something. The guy that started the whole thing, you talking about the guy that stole the ball and went and laid it in?
Yes.
That's not starting the whole thing.
Jimmy, I know you didn't play basketball, but Jimmy, when you do that, that's just like kneeling in football. That's like everybody know they're going to kneel, and everybody know the game's out of reach, and somebody come across there and hit the quarterback on the knee and break his knee. Jimmy, the game was over. That kid shouldn't have done that. He lit the match. I know you might not understand it because you didn't come up with that, but dude, he lit the match, sir.
That does not warrant a fight. That does not warrant a guy standing over you with his sacks.
That's not a fight. Hey, Jimmy, that's just as disrespectful in standing over him. He told him, and guess what? All he told him, man, I can't believe you did that shit. That's why I threw that shit out of there.
Okay, so explain this to me. So
I would have did the same thing.
A white boy took the ball from Kansas just this season in the same situation.
He got away with it because he had a breakaway. Excuse me. He had a breakaway. They couldn't catch him.
Heather, did you see that dunk? The dunk from Munman? He dunked on the Kansas guy. He had caught up with him.
Jim. Okay, so the white guy got away with it. Okay, tell me how that helps your point then. Since the white guy got away with it, how does that help you? The white guy get away with everything, Jimmy. Excuse me, Jim. Jim, welcome to America. The white guy get away with everything anyway. Welcome to America, sir. Welcome to America. That wasn't a good take there, boss. I knew about that, but I wasn't going to bring that up. That wasn't a good take. They get away with everything.
What do you mean that wasn't a good take? That is perfectly a good
Jimmy,
take.
the white boy got the complexion for protection, for collection. Asusa from Angola. Well, excuse me. One of those shithole countries that the president talks about. That's all. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But guess what? I'm just not going to vilify the kid. I think that heat was on him. He picked up the chair. Thank God for Jarence Howard, the assistant coach. He broke it up before the guy could do it. The guy didn't land no punches. He didn't land no punches because he was getting swung at. If you go watch it again, his punches were, somebody who just go watch it a couple of times. His punches didn't connect. But he the one gets suspended indefinitely. And guess what? And those people think like you. Well, he's dirty. So let's get the dirty guy. Let's blame it all on him because we can't dare blame it on Kansas because we want Kansas in the Final Four.
So once again, watch the magic question. What should happen to DeSouza?
I don't know.
Oh no. You're the coach. What you do?
Jimmy, I've never been in this situation before. So I don't know. I've never been in a position where that happened for me. So I don't know what I would do. I hear people talking about 10 games. I can't sit 2 games, 4 games. Excuse me. First of all, I don't know everything about the relationship between him and the coach. So for you to put me in that position, I'm not gonna.
Let's say he was he had the best grade point average on the team, and he attended every practice early and left everyone late. Let's say he goes to church and he babysits your kids. What do you do to dissociate after what he did last night? And based on everything you had to go through to get him eligible. And
I don't deal in hypotheticals. I don't deal in hypotheticals. I just don't.
So what are we talking about?
I just don't. You the one said that. That's you. I'm just telling you, I don't want people to vilify the guy. That's all I said. I don't know how many days he should get, how many games he should get. But guess what? They suspended him indefinitely. So guess what? We don't, and you don't know how many games indefinitely is.
Exactly. That depends on what he does now what he does and what the school has to endure over the next couple of weeks.
But as soft as he was, I let him play. I make him run the next day in practice for running from that guy, but I let him play, problem.
I understand. In corporate America, that coach, that's the least that had to be done first and swiftly was for that young man.
Why?
Because that coach is on a hot seat for his job. His coach has been called to be fired 3 times in the past year and a half. So guess what? It's called CYA. That's first and foremost.
Let me see what my boom boom.
The kid didn't have to go there. He could have went somewhere else. He knew Kansas was in the trouble before he went there.
Let me see my boom boom. Let me see what my boom boom.
So that's one reason, and that makes perfect sense. That's part of the business, part of the politics of the business.
Well, the coach is dirty. So the whole universe is dirty. But that's a good one. I'm
glad. That's not the only university that's dirty.
Jimmy, I'm glad you took that position because I could even just talk about I'm not talking about the kid wasn't wrong. I watched how he used to. I don't think you listen to me. It's a difference between listening and hearing. I watched how this kid was vilified by old white men on TV last night. So, of course, you knowing me, I'm not going to agree with them until I take a look. That's why I went and watched the video countless times. I don't know how. I rewind so much, y'all, I had to change the battery. Because I wanted to see the extent that these guys tell me that's criminal. I think criminal charges should be brought. This was the rhetoric that was spewing out of the mouth of Seth Davis last night. Seth Green. I'm sorry, Seth Davis. Seth Green last night. The one who had a whole lot of problems, had a scandal at Virginia Tech when he was there. Google him. Seth Green. Google him and how his unceremonious departure from Virginia Tech and college coaching. That's why he was on TV. But he always have this super moral high ground when it comes to our athletes. And guess what? Robert Hatter? No. I just think different. And it's okay. It's all right for you to think like that. But me, no, man. De Silva was running from that heat, man, and he had to pick up something because guess what? Dude was on his behind. So what else? What else we got? What y'all talking about out there, man?
Well, one of the things you can expect is other players, and that's going to be the thing because virtually everybody from each team left the bench. So now, how are you going to encompass and stagger those suspensions? Of course, they can't suspend everybody at one time because you wouldn't have nobody to play a game. So naturally, when that stuff happened, we saw it happen in the high school ranks, and they means you can expect for certain players to serve staggered suspensions on each team during the upcoming games. Fortunately for Kansas, their next game is not a conference game. So the suspensions should apply, definitely apply for conference games, which at least starting with Oklahoma State, which is the one they played Tennessee, I think this weekend, then Oklahoma State. And I can't remember who they play after that.
I got a caveat for you. Do you know just by me watching it a lot of times. Technically, and I want you to help me with this, and you coaches out there, and I know you said Stephen Woods, y'all preach playing to the clock is 0, but I don't want to hear that mess, because I don't want to hear that. But Jimmy, most of the guys were going to the shake hand line with the coaches when this incident happened. They were up going toward the shake hand line. So technically, they were, if they were on the floor, I'm just talking about the guys left the floor. They were going, you know how you go to the shake hand line? They were up and going to the shake hand line.
But
I know the game went over, but
they had not crossed over the half court.
But guess what? I'm using that if I'm somebody's Lord. I'm using that. Come on, man.
Okay, well, you hey.
If you mess with my son was going toward the layup for the shakeup, and he was on the floor already because he stepped on the floor doing the layup line. That's all I'm saying, Jimmy. I'm telling you.
You know what? You would do better saying your son was going to check into the game. They were about to call a timeout 1 second.
You know what? I'll do better paying attention to that, because a lot of people didn't pay attention to that, and I did. Somebody better watch this show and pay attention to it, because it might mean something. It might mean something. I know it's way above.
Well, understand, Hatter, that's not the bench. That's still considered the bench area. So over on that sideline right there in front of the scores table.
But guess what?
They left the bench area.
And that's
left the bench area.
Guess who bench they were close to? I'm just telling you, Jim. I mean, you can, I know if I said it, if your background is blue, you're going to say it's orange. I already know, but it's okay. It's all right. I love the contrast. So what else we got? Yeah, Derek, I'll be looking, Derek. I don't know what everybody be doing, Derek. Derek, you can't give me no remote control in some time. I'm going to go look at everything. But I'm not going to play the video again. Frey, do some work. Now what you talking about, Jim? What we got next, man?
We definitely got some other stuff coming up. We're gonna talk some NBA basketball. Of course, Zion Williamson is set to make his season debut tonight with the New Orleans Pelicans playing the San Antonio Spurs. So all eyes will be on the Pels this evening.
Guess what I heard today?
What are your expectations for Zion in this debut against the Spurs?
Jimmy, I'm sick right now. Guess what I heard? Guess what they call today on ESPN? It's
Zion Day?
It's Z Day. Jimmy, they said it's Z Day. What the hell is wrong with ESPN, man? They want this boy to be so good, so bad. Jimmy, they said it's Z Day, Zion Day. Like the mayor and gave him a proclamation. Come on, man.
I'm
Z Day. Hey, boom, boom, room. Z Day.
Be careful, guys. That's all I'm gonna tell you. Just be careful.
Hey, no. Pay attention.
Pay attention. Don't. You know what though? In all fairness, one thing we do know, that the likelihood of Zion falling asleep on the bench today will be close to none. So that's
Jimmy. He said he was in prayer. The kids say he was in prayer. He said he was in prayer. He said he didn't fall asleep. He was praying a little bit. That's what the kids said.
Which time?
The time. So every time he do that, he said he go and pray a little bit on the bench.
Okay.
That's what he said. I don't know. I mean, if it's a lie, he said it. He said he he said he closed his eyes and pray and meditate every now and then.
Well, one thing that's good about it, believe it or not, guys, Zion Williams. I put it like this. As it stands tonight, entering tonight's game, the Pelicans are approximately 8 games out of the playoff.
2 minutes.
Of the 8th seed. That's not. It's a lot of games left. 8 games out. So here's my question. They're 8 games behind, like Memphis, who has the front runner right now for Rookie of the Year. If indeed Zion can propel the Pelicans to catch up in all that gap and make the playoffs, then you can rest assured that Zion is going to get Rookie of the Year this year. If he does that, this is like, okay, Houdini, you want to show me something. Get from 17 and a half games down and make these playoffs this year. We're going to see what you then talk to us after that.
What?
Because
you used to say you was first team all petty. Dude, you petty of the year right now. That's the pettiest stuff I ever heard of in my life, what you just said. That's
not nothing to do with Pete.
Man, Jimmy.
That ain't nothing to do with
You can't miss 40 games, Jimmy. The man that missed 40 games can't get to him.
If he comes back and lead this team into I'm just putting a big, huge if. You can brace yourselves for the conversation.
If my auntie had a beard, she'd be my uncle.
I'm telling you now, just bookmark this season now, because one win at a time, one game at a time.
I like that.
Because you know what though? One thing we can say, the team definitely has enough talent to be an 8 seed. We knew that. We figured that before the season started. A lot of people had pegged them in as a potential 8 seed in the Western Conference. Now, other teams have a huge head start. And speaking of course, NBA, the Rockets are back in action tonight.
Yes, sir.
Hosting the Denver Nuggets. And Denver is in town. That's the Joker. He'll be bringing his talents to the Toyota Center tonight. And, all eyes are on the Rockets. They done lost, 3 straight at home. I think they lost 4 straight on a 4-game funk.
Will you talk about what I sent you a text? So will you bring up to the guy you vilified? See, you always vilifying people. You vilified P.J. Tucker yesterday. Are you going to share the news that I gave you about P.J. Tucker?
What reports are now that P.J. Tucker has some type of nerve damage that he's playing through in his shoulder. So that can help. Remember, I saw those string of numbers. That's one thing about stats.
And you said he getting old.
No. That comes with getting old, Heather. That's what that comes
nerve
with
damage?
It.
Okay.
And I said, that comes with it.
Okay.
And I said something. At first we said something ain't right. This dude ain't grabbing. Normally when he don't score, you're still grabbing rebounds. He's not doing nothing. So now
Jimmy, it's hard to raise that thing up when something right there.
So here's the thing. Once again, the coach and God has PJ Tucker. You are not being productive enough for the team to win. I understand your guts, and nobody's going to question the grit of PJ Tucker and his value to the Rockets as the tough guy. He's the Teflon of this team. However, you've tried to do it, PJ. It ain't working. That's on the coach to say, hold on, man, PJ, we need you for the playoffs, brother. We don't need you to aggravate nothing and have to go and mess around and set yourself back. That's the thing. So once again,
he ain't that kind of coach, Jimmy. That's why he on a 1-year deal. We might be looking. That's why that guy didn't do that deal. I think he's out of here. I just don't see them renewing him.
I can see it. Listen, Eric Gordon. Remember, the trade deadline is only 2 weeks away.
Heavy. What y'all call it? What you call wet cardboard? What was y'all calling cardboard?
Heavy trash. Heavy trash.
Jimmy, do you know how much money they paid this dude, man?
A grip. He just got it last year.
89. 79 guaranteed to this dude.
They got to package him with something that somebody that don't make much money.
Want it?
Well, if you package, you got to package him and make the numbers right.
Oh, did you hear what Chris Paul said?
What did he say?
They talk about, Chris, would you consider a trade and split some of your salary down so we can facilitate a trade for you to go to a contender? Chris said, hell no, I want my 44. They said, Chris, can you reconstruct your... They went to Chris Paul, the president.
Who was they?
Huh?
Who was they?
Sam Preston them. OKC. Chris, We can facilitate a trade to you to a contender if you want to, but you got to restructure some of this $44 million. Chris said, hell no. I tried to tell y'all. Y'all talking about, well, James ain't gonna never get no championship. Let me tell y'all something, man. Chris Paul said, I might not never get a championship. I want my $44 million. I keep trying to tell y'all, man, this stuff is about, yes, I love it. Let's get me a ring. I love a ring. I love it. Get me some money. I can buy all the rings I want. $44 million. That's generational wealth for my family. That ring, what's the boy name? Lamar Odom. Guess what he done with his ring? He don't know where his ring at. That's how much that ring. Y'all keep running y'all mouth talking about, well, James ain't gonna never remember. Okay, James, keep getting your check. And what's Chris Paul? I love you for that, son. Jimmy, he told him, hey, no. Nope. He said, nope. Hell no. That's what he said. That's his quote.
So now, speaking of this Rockets game tonight, I'm going to tell you why this game is really, really scary. Because a loss tonight will pretty much guarantee a team meeting amongst the players. I almost guarantee.
I don't care.
If a loss tonight. Let me explain to you why, what I mean by that. Remember, this OKC loss the other night. Remember, OKC was without 2 starters and the backup center, right? The kid who played for the BABC. You said Nerlens Noel, I think. Well, tonight, Denver is playing without Paul Millsap. They playing without Jamal Murray.
And that stuff don't matter no more, man. I'm telling you, man.
No. Paul Millsap matters.
No,
I'm
just telling
Jamal
you, it don't
Murray
matter.
matters.
You can lose even with your starters in and your starters out. The Rockets, the Lakers had Anthony Davis. They beat the Rockets without Anthony Davis, and we got their head tore off with Anthony Davis. So you making too much out of it.
When it's this tonight, the Rockets have already admitted in today's paper. They've already said it. Even James Harden is saying it. Eric Gordon is saying it. They have quotes all through the paper. They're all saying
the paper.
Right here. They said they've never understand. They haven't lost 4 straight all year. So they're in uncharted territory with this new team. They've all saying it. I'm reading it this morning.
So let's say they lose tonight. Okay?
No.
I'm going to give you, I don't deal in hypotheticals, but I will humor you here. Okay, they lose tonight. So what they going to do? Fire the coach? Now, that'll be a good idea.
That could happen.
Okay.
That could happen. I said they would warrant a team meeting because now you're saying to yourself, understand, you're having a chance to get a respectable win, even though the team is not at full throttle, but most teams aren't nowadays. Every other night, you have somebody either load management or somebody's hurt or whatnot. But still, on paper, it will show the Rockets, and they may come down to a head-to-head down toward the end of the season, and this win over Denver could mean something. But it would mean something right now because for the moral fabric of your team is look like it's coming to loose in places that you thought was tight.
Them folks just missing shots, man. Them folks getting the same shots they've been making. Jimmy, when you live by the gun, you're gonna die by it. That's why I don't even worry about it. I think, that's your job to worry about them. Dude, when you're hitting shots, boy, it's a lot easier. Rockets got a high-risk offense, a high-risk team. They can't guard nobody. They don't have a forward guy that can just an athlete that just can block shots because the defensive team is not that great. They got a lot of deficiencies. So they need to make shots to win games. Jimmy, they losing. They ain't just getting their head tore off. They ain't getting their head tore. They get to the fourth quarter and forget how to play. And can't make shots. So I just hope at some point they'll make some shots. Shout out to Casey. Casey, man, I almost I went to a basketball game last night. I was headed to the Houston. You know, the Houston had their award show last night, Jimmy, and I just didn't feel like putting on. I didn't really feel like dressing up last night, so I didn't go. And I hate it. If I knew you was going, Casey, I would have went. And shout out to Russ Corley. What's up, Russ? Russ is on the air. What's up, y'all? So what else we got, Jimmy? What else? You want to still talk about these Rockets?
And to give you guys some numbers of crunch on, on speaking of the Rockets is James Harden. He's averaging, of course, he's leading the league with 37 and some points a game and some change. When they win, Harden averages 40 points a game, and he's shooting 41% from behind the arc. In the losses this year, he's only averaging 30 a game, and he's shooting 25% from behind the arc. We know that's going to, like I said, all eyes will be on this team. But good thing for the Rockets that tomorrow, no matter what they do tonight, is going to be superseded by Zion Williamson. So that's the only comfort, because it won't splatter all over the TV screen as far as the Rockets lose again. It's going to be Zion first, no matter win, lose, or draw, because these networks have to go and reinsert air into the tires of this machine, this Frankenstein, which we've all had an integral part of creating. And don't get it twisted, he's talented, but there's a lot of talent that got to the NBA and withered along the side. Now,
wait a minute. Who was you talking about withered?
A lot of talent.
Who is talented?
That came.
Who was you talking about is talented? And
Zion.
Zion. Okay. All right. Okay. I missed it. I missed the Zion thing.
But he hadn't played a minute yet.
Yeah.
So now he's played in preseason.
Jimmy,
we saw him in summer league.
Jimmy, they was talking about this the other night. They was talking about NBA GMs out there. They ain't putting their name on it. They talking about at the top of this year's draft, they said this draft could be 2013 all over again. You remember what 2013 was? Anthony Bennett draft. So they saying these guys like, what's the guy, Vernon Carey and them gonna be? But I'm telling you, terrible.
That means your kid from Memphis who's picked James Wiseman.
Yeah, they talk about all of them.
They
talking about Jimmy. I'm telling you, the NBA, Jimmy. James Wiseman right now. Bless his little heart. Vernon Carey right now. When the hell they going to go in the NBA and play on which team right now? Well, just give me one team that they going to go on and play right now. Give me one.
Guess what, Adam? Let me tell you something. You'd be surprised with the right situation for a player.
No, I ain't talking about right situation. I'm talking about just common sense. Said, okay, can they come play for? Could they come start for the Rockets?
Atlanta.
Okay.
Atlanta's one.
What's the other losing team? What's the other losing team?
No. The other losing team has an asterisk. That doesn't count. Golden State would be the second worst team in the league, but they don't count because they have 3 new faces that's coming in next year. That's sitting down.
Hey, Cynthia. So you saying they can come in and take Clint Capella's spot? Cynthia, I know you're on that medicine. I know you laughed at me. You're on that medicine this morning. Quit hanging out with Jimmy and drinking before 2 o'clock. Because no, Clint Capella, he ain't that good, but them two there, Vernon Carey, Jimmy, the man said with a straight face, 2013 all over again, man. Melo Ball, R.J. Hampton, all these guys in this draft. And this what these people are saying. Jimmy, you pulled up the draft. Did you pull it up?
I mean, yeah, I'm looking at it. There's a few guys. Guess what? That draft yielded the MVP of the league.
Who that?
The Greek Freak.
Yeah. But look where they drafted him at. I said the top, the front end. See, Jimmy, it's a difference in listening and hearing. Let me repeat it again. I didn't say the whole draft. I said at the top of this year's draft. At the top. Greek Freak went in the top. Okay, now carry on.
well, one thing about it, I mean, we look at Anthony Bennett, but Victor Oladipo is an NBA All-Star. He was the second pick in the draft. Otto Porter had played, he ended up starting. Played. Now Cody Zeller, but dud.
Jimmy.
Alex Lynn.
Jimmy, do you know the criteria? What they said when you drafted them top spots? You're supposed to be supposed to be transformative player. You're going to be an all-star and an all-pro within a certain number of years. So Oladipo is a good one. But I guess, he didn't say the whole draft. He just said the top end of the draft got shades of 2013 all over again. Maybe
it just looks like certain guys, some people may have said they developed and got a whole lot better after they were drafted. And some guys that has proven that a lot of general managers of NBA personnel got it totally wrong on. As I mentioned, one was the Greek Freak. Other guys from that draft that came lower that are doing very well in the NBA right now. Rudy Gobert was number 27 in that draft. Rudy Gobert.
Jimmy, it's a good. So you saying it's a good? It yielded some fruit.
Lil Ugly was in the first round, number 17.
Lil Ugly ain't no joke, player. And Lil Ugly, y'all, is Dennis Schroeder. Jimmy so affectionately called him Lil Ugly. But Jimmy, I'm looking at Contavious Caldwell Pope. Contavious. Guess what Shaq called that man the other day, man? Michael Caldwell Pope. Shaq, hold up. These people get talk about me and you when we mispronounce a person's name or mess up something. This guy get millions of dollars on TNT, and he called the man Michael Caldwell Pope the other night. And Ernie and Chris and Kenny Smith them tore his head off. The man said, but Jimmy, he's so irrelevant. You might call him. What, you see another name? I see you putting your lips together. You see another name?
No, I was just looking at it. Just looking at, you can always play Monday morning quarterback on every single draft out there, guys. That's the thing. Just that some guys get better. I'm looking at a couple other names of guys who were doing quite well that was down low, and we thought one would be a guy like, Tim. I was going to say Tim Hardaway Jr., but he can't. Actually, he did play well when he first came in.
He balling.
I'm talking about even when he got to New York, he was balling.
Yeah, he balled. He balled so well, he got a pretty girlfriend, and Derek Fisher tried to mess with his girlfriend. He balling like that. Yeah, he balling that good.
But I was looking, and speaking of NBA, how about Kobe Bryant has inserted himself in the news? Kobe must be up to something. He must be, because he's been in the news.
What do you do now?
Somehow, think about it. You know how guys like OGs know how to stay out of the way, and you know how to get in the way. So Kobe has something brewing. You just rest assured, because trust me, Kobe, he's sitting courtside and messing with Luka 2 weeks ago at the game. You know when people, now he comes out and Kobe says that Diana Taurasi, Maya Moore, and Dayla Dunn could play in the NBA right now.
Jimmy, he hangs out. He be at them women basketball. Jimmy, you know his move. He building up the WNBA for his daughter. His daughter gonna be one. Come on, Jimmy. He was the first one when the new collective bargaining agreement was ratified or agreed upon. He was the first guy to tweet about it. Come on, yes, it is calculated. Of course it is. He said, let me build it up so my daughter, so she can have a place for it. But guess what? He's a permanent fixture at all the LA Sparks games. Yes, I understand what he's doing. He's looking for his next generation, Jimmy. That's what all of us should be doing. Putting our next generation.
His daughters is playing basketball, grassroots basketball it is, and Kobe Bryant, and so you definitely he's a definite fan of female basketball. Now, how about this right here?
What you got? I got something too.
We got a lot of stuff to cover. We're gonna go in the mailbag as well, guys, later. But the Major League Baseball has is reported now that they have no plans to strip the Houston Astros of their World Series title, or the Boston Red Sox. Once again, this is according to Rob Manfred, the commissioner, right? No plans to strip either of the teams of their title. And speaking of the Astros, I had something I was looking at over the weekend, and I share with you guys. I pull it up, and this is kind of intriguing. You know, it's funny because remember everybody's saying most teams cheating, and you know a lot of people do it. It's so commonplace. That's why the snitching aspect of it was just so surprising. How this thing initiated. That's like it's unwritten. It's, you know, everybody knows everybody does it. However, it don't make it right. Now, here's the thing I was looking at in the Astros. In the 2017 season that they won the World Series, did you guys know that, I'll give you their home record, because this is where the cheating of this magnitude occurred, not the trash cans, but the cameras from center field. That's the most significant part right there. At home, because you can't have access to the monitors in center field on the road. Well, the Astros record in 2017 at home was 48-33. On the road that year, they were 53-28. They won more on the road than they did at home.
That still don't mean they wasn't cheating.
Ain't nobody said that. I'm just letting you know that don't mean that cheating was all that got them all the way on through. And that was it. That don't mean they were cheating. I'm just letting you know that it was no big contrast on the numbers from home and away. How about the batting average at home? At home, they batted .279. On the road that year, they batted .284. How about this? The runs scored at home that year was 395 runs scored that year.
Jim,
hold on. This is important. No, this is good stuff. Dude, the Astros cheated. Do you understand that? Yes, they did. We know that. That don't mean they were sorry. I'm letting you know how good they were.
Nobody never said they were sorry.
I'm supplying stats. That these are facts. On the road, remember, once again, at home, they scored 395 runs. On the road, 501 runs. How about this? Home runs that year. At home, 115. On the road in 2017, in that season, Houston Astros, on the road, 123. Now, however, when it came to the playoffs, that was a hell of a disparity in the playoffs for two of the key players for the Astros. At home, Altuve batted .472. On the road in the playoffs of 2017, he batted .143. Carlos Carrera batted .211 on the road, but at home he batted .371. So that made a difference. And that can definitely be, I can pick up just one more in this story at you that's really glaring. McCann, remember the back catcher, looked like old lumberjack that they used to play for the Astros? He batted .300 at home, but on the road he batted .037. He batted .037 on the road during the playoffs. So, yeah, but at the same time, they're not going to see if they would take these titles away from the Astros. It's kind of going into the same as I said last week. It would it would go into a stratosphere that will open up a Pandora's box. For that means anybody that get caught cheating now in the investigations to come, you can go back and strip them as well. So you want to do this? Or you can just let it go and just say, you know what, we punish these guys. We can fine them, $5 million or whatever it was, and took away some draft picks and all this stuff. Let it go. That's what's happening with these Astros. Meanwhile, Boston Red Sox, that investigation is still going on right now. So we don't know what that's going to yield. And then they showed over the weekend Aaron Judge on the bench with some electronic evidence that they were cheating in a game against the Astros, the New York Yankees. Anyway, I want to get that out to you guys because that's, the baseball fix.
That's a good one. I was finna tear your head off, but because I thought you was just going to mention the regular season. And I was going to tell you, I don't care about the regular season. Ain't that what y'all doing? I want to know their stats during the postseason, because that's where all the postseason, like the guys like CC Sabathia and the guys like these other the pitcher from the LA Dodgers saying, "Wait a minute, man, I could have beat them."
Better not say nothing. Kershaw better not say nothing.
I could have beat them. They were stealing my signals. But you know what? Think about how innovative that was, y'all. First of all, it was in the Major League Baseball fault. See, Major League Baseball installed that camera so they can help and speed up replay. Okay? That's why they installed the camera. So the Astros in this great society, this technology society, said, "Hey, man, it's a way we can steal this feed." That's the sinister part of it. Ain't nothing wrong with them having this camera there. The Major League Baseball put the camera there, Jimmy. It's the sinister. Somebody concocted in their mind, said, "Hold on." And I don't think that was no player. Man, let's steal the feed and have it coming through our monitor right here. Jimmy, think about how dastardly and how sinister that is. I'm finna steal the feed. Major League Baseball. Hey, you tell one of your tech geeks, "Hey, man, find out where that feed is and steal it." I said, wow, unbelievable. But in women's news.
What organization is known as one of the most analytical and most tech-savvy organizations in all of baseball? And that's the Houston Astros.
And all of them gone. So what they going to do? They definitely ain't going to hire Dusty Baker because they ain't going to hire him. They done did Bo Porter so bad a long time ago. I know Jim Crane ain't going to hire. You remember I brought up.
That was a different owner that hired Bo Porter. That was a different owner.
Different owner. But yeah, Jim Crane.
That was Drake McClain hired him.
But Jim Crane got the EEOC violations against him in his companies now. So
he just getting the Rooney Rule out the way so you don't come.
They don't have a Rooney Rule in baseball, Jim.
Well, I know. I'm saying that's the equivalent of it. You can use the slang of the word.
Jim.
He's applying his own Rooney Rule and giving you guys Dusty Baker, the former San Francisco, the former Los Angeles Dodger, and the former manager of the Giants and other teams around the Cubs and whatnot. And I used to love Dusty Baker. I used to love him when he was playing back when I was a little boy. Love Dusty Baker. Didn't like the Dodgers though, but love.
You know who I used to love? Ken Griffey Jr. That was my favorite player.
You wasn't a little boy when Ken Griffey Jr. You was a grown man.
I said that was my favorite player. I ain't said nothing about no little boy. I said that was my favorite player. When I was a little boy, I ain't like baseball. I told you I don't really like baseball.
You didn't have to not like baseball to have a favorite player.
Babe Ruth then. He wasn't around.
Babe Ruth was dead as a donut. And then
Willie Stargell. Man, get out of here. Hold up. This Women Rock Wednesday, man. I got to give a women fact. Coco Gauff, our favorite young tennis player, is the first American woman in 30 years to reach the third round in her first 3 majors. Y'all, she's 15 years old, y'all. Not Reggie Stargell. Name on Reggie Stargell, was it, Jimmy? No. But Coco, I forgot his name. What's the guy, Stargell, Jimmy? What's Stargell's name? Baseball. Willie Stargell.
The Pittsburgh Pirates. It was Reggie Stargell.
No. See, you don't know the what? It's Willie Stargell. It's something else Stargell. It ain't no damn Reggie. But Jimmy, Coco Gauff, we got to give him.
I remember with the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah, I like them uniforms and them hats. But it is Willie Stargell, y'all. So Jimmy, hey, leave baseball alone. Thank you, Anthony Weston. Boy, Anthony Weston, my best friend today, y'all. And Jimmy, I also saw something the other day that the San Antonio Spurs played this game. And Becky Hammon is the assistant coach, right?
She gonna be on the bench tonight.
Who? She be on the bench all the time.
I'm saying she'll be in the game. She'll be visible tonight. They're gonna highlight her tonight.
But she did something so unique, Jimmy, that the other day, it was Jimmy Butler. They were playing Jimmy Butler. They were playing the Miami Heat. They beat the Miami Heat. Jimmy Butler came to the basket and got bumped on the floor, but he thought he had the continuation. And Becky Hammon went to Pop and said, Pop, challenge that, man, because he was bumped on the floor. Pop said, no. Then she said, no, challenge it. Jimmy, it raced the basket. He challenged it. It erased the basket. And San Antonio wound up winning the game. That was her Tyronn Lue moment. You remember when Ty Lue came of fame is when he told David Blatt, man, we don't have no more timeout. And David Blatt almost called a timeout and would have cost Cleveland the game. Becky Hammon, a woman, she paid attention to detail and she challenged Pop. You know, most guys, because Tim Duncan was just looking at like, Becky said, no. She kept after. She challenged the play, and the San Antonio Spurs, because of that play, they came back and won the game. So shout out to Becky Hammon. We need more women in this industry because women pay attention to detail. So shout out to Becky Hammon today. Now I just need a black woman to be on the front row. Now what? On the front row. Front row, not the back row.
Speaking of Coco, she got little what her name? Osaka. That's who she has next round.
Oh, it's trouble.
So that means they've out this Australian Open will have paired and indirectly knocked out or yielded two key matchups of some of our pillars of female tennis. And that's, remember, the first round, it was Coco ousting Venus Williams.
Venus is out now, Jim.
I know, but still, Venus don't go down in the first round if she ain't playing against this girl. Venus gonna still at least get 3 rounds. We're gonna get 3 rounds out of Venus. She gonna make it, Venus ain't need to change her clothes. This little young girl ran right through her. So now she has to go and play what is Osaka? I can't think of the young girl's name.
Osaka. They call it Osaka.
And they will be meeting up in the 4th round. Of course, Serena, she's advanced to the 4th round as well. So that means now, indirectly, black on black crime is prevalent at the Australian Open.
Hey, Jimmy, I got another women topic for you, Jimmy. A few days ago, I was texting you information because you talked about the tech. You remember you mentioned San Francisco winning, the tech people win again. And I just told you, it might not be as tech as you think because they out there. They're not in Silicon Valley. They're in Santa Clara. So it's a little different. But, Jimmy, I sent you a text. If you go back and look at the text, I sent you a name, Katie Sowers. Katie Sowers, thank you for reminding me on the Facebook feed, Trey. But I sent Jimmy Katie Sowers' name. And she's an offensive assistant. She got 4 years of experience. She would be the first woman coach to coach in the Super Bowl. And she's the first openly gay person and woman that would be coach in the Super Bowl. And Katie Sowers, you can look her up. I looked at the San Francisco's, you know how I am. I'm going to look in the front office, and I'm going to always look and see who is on your coaching staff. Because I just like to know, people's hiring practice. When I'm supporting you, I just want to know if you're supporting me. in my people. So it's unique. Katie Sowers. What else you got, Jim?
Also, I was last nugget I had for baseball. Remember, Derek Jeter was elected to the Hall of Fame on yesterday.
Yeah.
He and Larry Walker. Larry Walker was I won plenty of money off of Larry Walker. Boy,
I don't even know who he is, Jim.
Larry Walker played for the Rockies back in the days. I mean, he hit that ball, man. I mean, he was like a white Tony Gwynn hitting that rock, but he was a slugger as well. And in Colorado Rockies, they just built that stadium, and the wall is so short right there. So it was like one of the best. It was a hitter's buffet. But Larry Walker he's got in on his 10th try. So how you guys understand Hall of Fame is that you get 10 attempts. First of all, you got to be gone for 5 years. And after 5 years, then they give you 10 attempts. Mm-hmm. So after 10 attempts, then if you don't get at least 75 votes, 75% of the vote, mm-hmm. right? Then you are no longer for consideration for the Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. So Larry Walker, it was funny because early yesterday, he had even went, sometimes when you got plugs, you've been in the business like that, he kind of has a feel of who's voting for him, who's not. He was under the impression that, according to his calculations, that he was going to have about 72%. He was going to miss. He went on social media and thanked and had basically sent out a sad tweet. Then next thing you know, the votes get tallied. He makes it with 76%. Another thing about this, when you get on the ballots, everybody's eligible. If you don't get 5% of the vote, then they automatically scratch your name off and you're no longer eligible. So I mean, on the first year, everybody that was eligible to come on, but if you don't get 5%, then you can't come back on the following year. You don't get that's it. Now, Roger Clemens, Barry Bonds, all eyes are on them because this was their 8th year on the ballot. They only have 2 years left. Sammy Sosa, throw him in there as well, but Sammy's probably not going to make it. However,
hey, you see what Miss Mindy said? She said, have they revealed the one person that didn't vote for Jeter?
And that was another thing. Jeter had one panelist.
Yeah.
That did not. See how you do is everybody gets to put 10 players.
Okay.
You get 10 players that you put on your poll in number.
Gotcha.
So you get 10 players.
Mm-hmm.
That means one person said that Derek Jeter wasn't one of their 10 of the candidates.
Hey.
Right? That was presented. That was on there.
Have you ever seen Derek Jeter in person?
I saw him in person. Yeah.
Jim, y'all, I didn't realize he was that tall.
Yeah, he's about 6'3".
No, 6'4", 6'5". Dude, he was tall. Yeah. I was looking, I said, man, I did not know this dude was that tall.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. But Jimmy,
Carlos Carrera the same way. Carlos Carrera is like the same size Derek Jeter is.
You know what's so unique about the Hall of Fame and why we make a big deal of it, Jimmy? I was watching Bill Cowher when he got his, they was on the show. We talked about Jimmy Johnson. They did it different this year. Usually you wait till the Super Bowl and everybody, all the nominees, they go in they stay in the same hotel, and this big guy, Rob Baker, or Mr. Baker, he will come to your door and knock on your door with you and your family in there and tell you you made it to the Hall of Fame. That's how they did Ty Law. That's how they did Orlando Pace. But in this, they did it different this year for these two Hall of Fame coaches, Jimmy Johnson and Bill Cowher. They were on the coverage of the football games last week, and they decided Mr. Baker came there and told them they made the Hall of Fame. But let me explain something to how important this Hall of Fame is, y'all. And a lot of people do not know this. And Jimmy, I don't know if you know this. I'm just talking about the NFL. It's in NFL history. Keep this in mind, y'all. It's 29,000 people who played the game and coached the game. 29,000 who played the game, coached the game, or contributed to the game. Bill Cowher became the 327th inductee, and Jimmy Jones became the 228th person inducted into. I know them numbers. Ain't but 328 of those guys have been inducted. And Jimmy, I found another number. 182 of them are living. 182 of the football Hall of Famers are living Hall of Famers. But it ain't but 327, eight now of these guys that are in the Hall of Fame, y'all. So guess what? It's a big deal. Out of 29,000, number 328 are in there. That's why these guys cry over it. That's why Drew Pearson was crying about it. That's why Terrell Owens act a fool about it. You immortalize. And always remember, and that's just such a shame. I know the steroid era and all of that kind of stuff with Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds and Pete Rose. Let me give y'all some information. What I found out in my study about the Hall of Fames, and all the Hall of Fame is saying is, you cannot tell the history of that sport without that particular player. You can't tell the history of baseball without Barry Bonds. You can't tell the history. He's the leading home run hitter. He's in the record books. You can't tell that story without him being in there. You can't tell the story of the NFL, in Major League Baseball, without Roger Clemens. He was one of the greatest pitchers ever. So this is why these guys, y'all, are really, really not act a fool, are so passionate about. Ain't that many of them, y'all. It's not that many. So, Jimmy, I just wanted to explain that.
And I want to add something so you give you guys, here's the thing. My thing personally, of course, I see Doug, yes, a lot of the voters in Major League Baseball are vindictive. Yes, and a lot of people are trying to use it. And when it comes to Barry Bonds and say, well, because he was such an asshole to a lot of the media. And yes, that matters. However, here's my problem with it. My problem is this. I'll put it like this. I'm gonna put some numbers out there, and I'm just looking at these numbers. Barry Bonds got 60%. Yeah. Right? That's a slight uptick. Roger Clemens, 61%, a slight uptick from last year. If the actual votes, Barry Bonds got 241, Roger Clemens got 242. Right? So this is what was needed. What was needed was roughly around 300 votes. Right? So let's put this in perspective. Yesterday's Hall of Fame voting process, I don't know if you know it or not, but somebody mentioned, I think, Anthony Vallejo, Angel Vallejo, what's going on? Shout out to Angel.
What's up, Angel?
Mentioned Ken Griffey Jr. He wasn't unanimous. I think it was 3 people that didn't vote for Ken Griffey Jr. Back then. And we knew what that we kind of speculated what that was all about. That was some other stuff. People wasn't clear of the 1960s or hell, the 2010s or the 2010s. But it was 440 voters that voted back then. That's the average is 400 and something writers that are eligible to vote and cast their ballots. Here's my problem. Yesterday's selection process was the lowest amount of ballots submitted since 1985. 9,500. That's 35 years since it's been this few people that voted. So know what that means? That means there are several dozen who said, you know what? I'm boycotting the whole process. I'm not going to even vote because Barry Bonds, Sammy Sosa, Roger Clemens are on this. I'm going to sit this one out. This is what happened. So now, so my thing is Major League Baseball, the Hall of Fame should make it mandatory, or make those guys somehow reiterate the oath that if you're on this committee, you will submit a ballot. Don't give a damn who you vote for. You're gonna submit a ballot. Because what that does now, that shows the process. That's another way you're saying, well, you ain't got to vote for Barry Bonds. Vote for somebody. You could have helped somebody else. Dude, the lowest turnout of the 300, and I said 85, I'm sorry, correct me, 397. That's the lowest since 1985. So what I've read and what I'm hearing is, because like I say, voters talk amongst each other. Everybody has circles. People can speculate knows on the committee. So some people are feeling like, not everybody, but some are feeling like, well, we're going to make them sweat a little bit. Them meaning Roger Clemens, Barry Bonds, because obviously it looks like one isn't getting in without the other. They got 2 years left. They could get in year number 10. Year number 9, you can forget about it. It ain't happening. That's the thing. It just and it goes to show some of the undercurrents and the big diggity stuff. And this guy Larry Walker, how you asked about him earlier? I forgot there was another stat about Larry. Okay. I want the guy. He's only the second Canadian-born person to ever be voted into the Hall of Fame. He's only the second in the history of Major League Baseball, Canadian-born. Ferguson Jenkins is the first. So that's
Ferguson Jenkins was a pitcher. I remember him. Nah, got a high leg kick. Nah, Jimmy. You always talk about what's up about. Come on, man. Hey, but Jimmy, high school basketball.
We need to get a major league team. I was just surprised that you were as close. Being from Memphis, I would have thought that some of the old Atlanta Braves would have been your.
St. Louis used to come on our attention. St. Louis Cardinals used to come. Ozzie Smith and all of them used to come. Jimmy, I know about a lot of stuff. I'm not gonna go. You're not. If you notice, when you and I went to that game, right? The Astros game, they was winning in the World Series. You see how I got the hell out of there? I don't like to sit in that long, man. I don't like to sit in sporting events that long unless certain people playing. But Jimmy, I went to a unique game last night, Jimmy. I went to watch a high school basketball game last night. I went to watch Martin Ranch because I wanted to see Martin Ranch go against what's the boy Jake Arnold, because I saw Jake in your event at your Ruck of the Woods. So it was the first time I saw him. Jim, this LJ Cryer is the only kid I see. Jimmy, you see more high school basketball, can have not a great game and still have 44 points.
LJ had 44 last night.
44. And Jimmy, I didn't think he played that well. Jimmy, he had a 60-point game in him last night, and he just let him off the hook with 44. It was, and Jimmy, I'm sitting here looking. I mean, I'm just sitting here looking at their, they won. I mean, you know the score. They beat Katie Taylor. Martin Ranch beat Katie Taylor 75-56. But Jimmy, I saw some. I don't know if people know this. He done had 9 games with 40 points or more, 9 games with 30 points or more, 3 games with 21 points or more, and 2 games with 19 points. Jimmy, that's crazy. He had shot 60%. I'm bringing up stats. They sent this to me. He shot 60% or better 9 times. He had shot 50% or better 7 times. He had shot 75% once. And he had shot 40% or better 4 times. Yo,
that's period, or that's field goal from the floor.
From the floor, yeah. Yeah, period. Not threes. It's just it's unique, man. It's just a unique Jimmy, I haven't seen that in a while. I'm just saying, because in the last few years since we've been on this show, I haven't seen nothing like that. And young kid just, man, It's unbelievable. And Jimmy, one of his top players, Caldwell didn't even play in the second half.
Why not?
I just don't know. But Jimmy, they got a young man named Ethan Shiflett. Ethan, I'm sorry because I'm not pronouncing your name. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. It's spelled Shifl, Shiflett. Young kid, he had 14 points and 4 rebounds last night. Jimmy, I mean, not thought about it, a junior. And I know you probably he moved him out of town. Young man came in. Doug probably seen him. He didn't play that much in the beginning of the year, but he played. He fooled me last night. He cut his hair off. He used to have some hair everywhere, but he cut his hair off. And but Jimmy, I saw a unique stat from the game last night. Wesley Sellers had 8 rebounds, 10 assists, and 2 steals, but no points.
Who had that?
Wesley Sellers had 8 rebounds, 10 assists, and 2 points. So, I mean, Jimmy, just a name. I want you to take a look, you and Doug, whenever you have a chance to see a Morton Ranch play again, because he didn't play that much in your event. I don't think Ethan did. But, just take a look at it. Take a look at him and tell me what y'all think. I want you to see what you experts think about him. Just let me know. I'm going to leave it to the experts.
That's the dude you was hard on in the season opener.
I know, yeah. Because remember, he turned the ball over so many times because he played against Yates. Yeah, but Doug, he's a little bit, he done found himself. But guess what? A lot of people turn the ball over against Yates. Jimmy, I might turn the ball over once or twice against Yates. I might. I don't know. I know Greg Wise watched. Coach Wise.
Now, speaking of Yates, I think they have. I don't know how many is it? Ashley, is it 9 now or 10? I've lost count. Yates on the amount of 100-point games that Jack Yates has scored in a row.
Ashley will tell you.
And Ashley's on there. I knew it's 9 or 10. I want to get the number. You guys she can help me out in the boom boom room. But last night it was a tough finish because the other team, not necessarily the other team, HISD has implemented a running clock starting in the second quarter in the Yates games. There you go. Thank Rod. It's 10 now.
Hey, go on, Jim. I'm sorry.
And understand now, here's the deal. According to the National Federation of High Schools, you can't run that clock unless both coaches agree. So now they're going into a thing where certain people in certain districts can just take heed of the rule. I understand. I'm not against that. But if the rule states that both have to agree, then what you're doing is, and these guys we understand, there's no doubt about it, they're trying to chase history. And I thought about it several times, and it's like this, man. If your son was on the team, they're trying to get themselves in the record books, you would feel maybe have a different stance than what you have right now. These are young high school people that have a chance to put their name in a record book. Now, don't get it twisted, that record may not stand for long, but still, they will have created history together. Mind you, if the opposing team wants to go and stall a ball or hold a ball, that's on them. That's in the confines of the game. But to expedite it without it being a rule and implement and turn your high school game into a grassroots setting, whereas we have mercy rules, then I don't know, man. I don't know. And so I'm curious what some of you guys feel. How do you guys feel about that? Should HISD continue to run the clock prematurely in the first half of these games, knowing that if Yates break a record, guess what? The way I look at it, Jack Yates, you had 10 games straight with 100. You got 5 to tie, 6 to surpass, to become the record. This not going to be easy, because what you can expect to happen is for a lot of high school coaches are going to posse up and convince each of your opponents to stall that ball, to go real slow, to walk taking it out, because every second is going to count against you. And what you about to say, Adam?
No, I'm messing with Freight. I'm looking at the Facebook feed. They just talking about. Keep going. You're doing good. You're doing good. Keep going. They were just talking about.
And Lionel Gar, you say ain't no history made with 10 100-point games and no state championship. No, that's an individual record according to the National Federation of High Schools. And the current holder is Jack Yates from 2010. That's the record. That's what a record is.
They're trying to break their own record.
Yes.
And Lionel Gar, Lionel Gar's like the Grinch.
Yeah, I mean, in no state championship, I mean, no matter
They've
what.
Won state championships before. They won state championships before. You talking about this year, if they do it, the team that did it, didn't they win the state championship? The team that did it got the record. Am I right, Jimmy? They had the national championship and the state championship. So, so this team got a chance of doing it too.
Yes, this team got a chance of doing it too. And right now, they are the favorite. They are the favorite to win this championship in Class 4A. Remember now, another thing about this Yates team, Gerald Dokes has yet to be cleared.
Y'all keep calling this man name. I ain't seen him play
well,
yet.
Let me tell you why.
Tell me why y'all keep calling this.
I'm going to tell you why. Here's the reason. Because if they were going to rule at this point, it ain't but 1 month left in the season. The high school, the UIL season ends on February the 22nd. It's January the 21st?
Yeah.
So it's 1 month left in the season. If they were going to decline this young man from playing, then it would be it would be just sad for you to string him along the whole season. If they knew they were not going to let him play.
Have he had his little hearings? Like all y'all, them hearings, y'all, have he had his day in court?
They keep asking for more paperwork. They keep asking for paperwork to be valid. It's like one of those things, you're playing tennis, ping pong with it now. So now they're expecting a ruling within the next 5 days, 7 days. But hell, we've said that shit. Coach, said it before.
Coach, I never seen the kid play before. Because the time I saw him play, he was either hurt or whatever. So I just keep hearing people talk about him. I ain't never seen him do nothing. I just want to see him one time, a UIL. Because I keep hearing you talking about him today, or everybody talking about it. I ain't seen him do nothing. And y'all know how I am. I don't want to hear about what nobody say. I want to, let me look at it. I want to see him with my own 2 eyes. I just want to see him, y'all.
And so my theory is he will be permitted to play, because if he hadn't, they could have easily just said no. They never said no. Why would you wait until then? So that leads me to believe that the glass is half full, and when he comes, there's another body.
Okay.
And
I can't wait.
He's been practicing with the team. So that's one thing that's good. Okay. So he's been practicing with them.
Okay.
So, and getting strong and getting acclimated, because the thing with Yates is getting your cardio up but you need some game speed.
Jim, help me out. You remember the time I was in the studio, you were at the event. You was at the Southwest exposure camp. He was there or something.
He was there.
And y'all had him on, and I said, man, I'm looking forward to seeing you play. I came to the gym. He wasn't playing that good because Ronnie Courtney was there. And he wasn't playing that good because he said he was hurt. He wasn't playing that good. So now y'all done talked about him and talked about. I just want to see him play one more time. That's all. Please. UIL. Please let him play. Just let the man play. Because I want to see what he can do. I just want to see.
And also want to give you guys and share some news today that's there was at Concordia Lutheran High School, a teacher is accused of bringing a gun to school this morning and threatening to use it. So, which is, that's I guess an evolving. I guess the details will be forthcoming on this. Mm-hmm. And here it is. I got his name now. His name is Mark Davis.
The teacher name is Mark Davis.
Mark Davis,
okay.
and he's accused of bringing a gun to school, and he threatened the administrators at the school today. So that's at Concordia Lutheran. So you have, I'm quite sure text messages and all that stuff have went out. If you have relatives that attend that school, which is located in the Tomball area, Concordia Lutheran. And
Jimmy, I got to ask something, man. And I saw Calipari said something. Did you see what Cal said about Maxey? Jimmy, have you froze up over there? Did you see what Calipari said about Tyrese Maxey? See, now I know you don't be listening to me now. Yeah, I know you're on your text. Well, it was a unique thing. He was talking about, he said, no friends between these four lines. If you don't have on the same uniform as we do, we're enemies for these 40 minutes. Jimmy, Tyrese Maxey was guarding, what's the guy name? Anthony Edwards. And Anthony Edwards was scored on him a couple of times. And the man was smiling with Anthony Edwards. And Cal took him off him and said, no, don't you go nowhere near him no more. You can't be smiling. I'm gonna let y'all
be that two-way scorer tonight. Well, the reason I did it is down there, he scored on Tyrese a couple times, and Tyrese laughed with him like they were in an AAU game. Don't even go near him. Emmanuel, you got him. And if you don't have him, then Ashton has it. And that was why. Because the same for funsies.
Unbelievable, coach. The coach, Jimmy, the man saying the AAU culture has brought, you ain't friends with Anthony Edwards, dude. When you're on that floor, you can't laugh, Jimmy. Ain't Tyrese Maxey is a high level dude, right? Do you agree? Yeah. Why do a coach hey, you basketball coaches out there. Man, what do y'all think about that, man? When I saw it, it just blew me away. He told me that's just the kind of kid Max is. Man, okay. All right. Okay. Robert, I'm glad. Ain't nobody going to be on my team playing like that. And Jimmy, and again, too, I think LeBron James has stepped up and told Maverick Carter to go. However you have to do it, go get Delonte West, bring him to California, no matter how you have to do it. And in the state of mind this guy in, you probably have to drop on a private plane because he's going to act crazy on a commercial flight. So I saw that, and I'm glad that people in the NBA are reaching out. And a lot of people have been kind of being critical of the NBA. But me, I told y'all, I talked to them. I talked to the Players Association. They've been reaching out to this guy long before this because they knew it was some problems. Y'all, we got to understand. And the people that's kidding and posting the video, you notice I talk about it. I never posted the video because the video, I couldn't watch it. I couldn't watch it. I didn't share it. I did not, but because we got to understand it. A couple of years ago, Jimmy, we were on here advocating for Psych on Site, a 24-hour psychological and a mental health center. And we got to understand, ladies and gentlemen, mental health does not discriminate. How we address it does. We all need to have a more realistic view of how we fall so we can fall better. Because how we treat our most vulnerable is also a measure of how we are, and we can always be better. We can always be better at this, man. That is nothing to laugh at and play at and joke about and messing with LeBron's mom and all that kind. That is nothing to joke about, y'all. I happened to meet this kid before, Jimmy. St. Joe's, coming out of St. Joe's. And I know his agent. I know the people that represented him. Everybody tried to get this kid help. Man, this stuff is serious. When I tell y'all, watch how you put too much pressure on your son about basketball. I told y'all, we got a kid in this city that told me he don't want to play because his dad, the pressures his dad put on him. It's not fun, Mr. Hatter. I want to go fly a kite. I'd rather go do this. I don't even want to go to college. I'd rather go to trade school. There's no basketball team. Those are the pressures we putting on some of these young men out here, man. It's so hey, be conscious of it. And I just had to share that with you because it's breaking my heart when somebody flash this stuff and laugh and giggle on social media about this stuff. This stuff not funny, man. That kid is emotionally disturbed and mentally disturbed. It's not funny. So that's my public service announcement for today. What else you got, Jim?
I mean, Delonte West, that situation. A lot of people have reached out to him. I think on yesterday, somebody actually one of the facilities actually reached out and offered their services for free. But at the same time,
Coach, he don't need it for free, Coach. He got people, the Players Association gonna play for. He's a vested guy. He gonna be all right. He just need it. You can't force it. You can't force it. You can't force it.
In that situation, you just you can prepare all the meals that you want, and that's what I say. I always use the analogy in life. That doesn't mean that somebody's going to eat. You can cook all day. You can make all the berry pies you want. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean that a person is going to eat.
Great. That's great. So, or a purple, not in his case, Jimmy, he's not mentally stable. It ain't that he probably in his real mind, he probably want help. That's not the same that he's not trying to eat. He's mentally disturbed. He's not thinking with his faculties. It ain't that Jimmy, he's all right with living out there on the street. This guy used to live in a high rise. So I don't think he just don't want to eat. I don't think it's that. I just think he's mentally disturbed, and we can't even. I mean, forget about it. It just, we got to understand mental illness is different than people with their right mind. People with their right mind, yes, but he's not in his right mind. He's not in his right mind.
Adam, most of the experiences that I've seen from people, and trust me, I have several mental illness documented cases within my immediate family. And that most of them have a similar common denominator, where there will be some times where they would be, it's almost like bipolar. Sometimes they would be this, and sometimes they would be that. Sometimes they would be yin, sometimes they would be yang. Yang, one of those may be sane, one of those may be insane with their thoughts or their conversations. And so that means at one point in time, it's kind of like a person being high and being sober. So when that person is sober mentally, then you have to find a way to lure them to seek assistance. And that's what I meant by even when they sober, a lot of them still saying, ain't nothing wrong with me, because right now I'm good. What the hell you talking about? Man, leave me the hell alone with that. Miss me with that. That's what you kind of get out of a lot of them. But at the same time, I'm not, we all have, and of course, many of you guys out there have family members with mental health situations. And, so that means we have some experience, but we don't have to be degreed to be able to identify if a person, hell, you ain't degreed, and we know what Antonio Brown needs. It don't take, some things it don't take a degree. Now, how
they looking for him right now, Jimmy. Something else happened at his house yesterday. His trainer got arrested. They beat the moving truck. The guy brought some moving stuff or moving the girl stuff out. They beat him up yesterday. The police arrested his trainer and looking for Antonio Brown right now. Yes, something is wrong with him, but he don't think nothing's wrong with him. Everybody else knows something wrong with him. And he don't think, but on a positive note in the NFL, let me show y'all what's happening to some of the guys who got their faculties. Larry Fitzgerald has purchased Arizona Cardinals wide receiver, has purchased a minority stake in the Phoenix Suns, becoming the second active NFL player with an NBA ownership share. Only the second NFL player. Look what happened. An NBA player over here invested in the NBA. The other NFL player is Aaron Rodgers, who purchased a stake in the Milwaukee Bucks in 2018 as the only NFL player as a part of ownership. That's a big step. So when we have guys like Antonio Brown, we got guys like Larry Fitzgerald will step up and hit a home run. He's been a season ticket holder with the Arizona Cardinals since, the Phoenix Suns since 2005. And he's always been involved. Matter of fact, Jimmy, he's been an ambassador, an unofficial ambassador for them for a long time. He's a fixture at the games. And now he said, okay, I'm going to buy a team. I'm going to put myself in a position to buy a team. That's what the guys like Antonio Brown and the rest of these guys should be doing. Putting your money in situations where you can control some. That's all. We can talk about the bad things, but guess what? Some great things happening in the world of sports.
And speaking of the world of sports, before we get ready to land this plane on tomorrow, I guess we'll share with you guys. ESPN has released their mid-season, their winter rankings for the class of 2020. So
Jalen Green.
What we'll do tomorrow is something that I promised you guys that will take place early this week, but I'll save it for tomorrow, whereas I will explain to you guys the process of the selection and the nominees to the McDonald's All-American Games. And I will explain to you guys what this new list means for a lot of people and their chances to be selected as one of the 24 members of the boys McDonald's All-American Game, which will take place, I think, April the 1st. Yeah. The first Wednesday in April, put it like that.
Tomorrow, Thursday, right? Don't they reveal the McDonald's game to participants? I heard they're going to reveal it tomorrow.
They're going to reveal it tomorrow?
That's what they say.
Okay.
I saw that. I'm not sure.
So that means it's perfect timing for tomorrow for this conversation to explain to you guys show you what should you expect and which players are probably locks right now going in, and which players have a chance to get to land a spot.
Jim,
so
you got 10 minutes. I got something for you. I want you to do it in 10 minutes. Okay? Walter McCartney got fired. He was on relief. He didn't got fired. Jimmy, They said he goes from upsetting his alma mater to getting fired. Life comes at you fast, ladies and gentlemen. Walter McCarty led unranked Evansville to a stunning upset over Kentucky, y'all. And I'm gonna let you in with this, Jimmy. On November the 12th. He was put on administrative leave on December the 27th, 2 days after Christmas. He was fired today, January the 21st. It was been a wild few months for him. But Jimmy, listen to, I got to read this to you, and I want you to decipher this for the Boom Boom Room. He was placed on administrative leave on December 26th, and an external investigation was conducted by a national firm. The official said he received additional reports of misconduct after he was placed on leave. The university had previously issued a warning to McCartney regarding inappropriate off-court behavior with members of the campus community. I want you to help me with what that is, Jimmy. Officials said he was terminated immediately. Jimmy, I'm so excited. That's why I can't get the words out. Man, somebody said there's no place at the University of Evansville for this kind of behavior. I was putting our students in jeopardy. That means he was messing with the students too?
That's one of the rumors that's out there, that it was a relationship with one of the students. Well, one of the things that he had among some other stuff. So that's just an accusation that was floating among some of the coaching ranks, the fraternity of college coaches. So yes, I've heard that. And the thing is, my thing is, to me, is that they've announced that Todd Licklider, he was the intern, and they basically removed the intern off of him and gave him the job.
The interim, yeah.
Right? Do you realize that this team has not won a game since Cardi was fired?
No, I know they haven't. Yeah.
So how the hell did this guy get the interim tag removed when there's no progress with the same players that you already have a pre-existing relationship with? So it ain't like you came off the street. You were already on staff. So you couldn't inspire them to win. So what are you going to say? Them not my kids?
They were your kids. Wasn't he on staff?
Yes.
Before?
Yes.
Jimmy,
yes.
It's a unique thing. In my thing, I'm going to take a different take because you deal with coaches a lot and you deal with business. I don't. And what I would like to say, man, it's too hard for us to get these jobs, Jimmy. Me, you, Chris Walker, we come on this show for the last 3 years and advocated for African-American coaches to get these jobs. Jimmy, you can't go and mess with these girls on the campus, man. That's the forbidden fruit. That's the quickest way. Jimmy, Title IX, you told me that long. And Anthony Weston asked if the student was an adult. I think that even if the student, most likely the student was an adult.
Is an adult.
An adult, yeah. But he don't, Jimmy, he don't, Title IX, you can't fraternize. Coaches, you can't fraternize because you're using your power as the coach. You got power. I don't know, but Jimmy, I'm just thinking you use your power as a coach. You got power. These people be mesmerized by the college coach at their university. So you can use your influence to get in a whole lot of mess. You got to learn how to say no. That's why they lack for them coaches to get married. And that still don't stop some of them now. But Jimmy, you can't dip your pen in the company ink. They said in the campus community, Jimmy, that was the key word I told you. They said a campus community. That means he ain't going on the other side of Evansville. He's saying, I'm too lazy to go over there. I'm finna just sit over here in the yard and pluck them off at the yard. I'm not going to go out here and hunt on the other side of the town where it's safe and it's not against Title IX, I'm going to go right here and just, okay, I'm going to sit on the campus. I'm the coach. I just beat Kentucky. I'm going to sit on the campus at what y'all call the student center and just see which piece I want. Come on, Walter. Come on, young black coaches. They're not giving us these jobs, man. Look who they replaced them with. I haven't looked him up, but I think Licklider, I haven't seen too many black Licklighters. Jimmy, I'm just saying, I haven't looked at his profile. I don't know.
You know what he is.
Okay, so we advocate for y'all to get these jobs, man. You got to keep that zipper zipped up, man. Go cross town and get old Susan from across town. Or import, you make enough money, fly you some in. Come on, man. Jimmy, I'm appalled. That's why I couldn't. I'm gonna let you lose these last 3 minutes to do whatever you want to, but I'm mad. I'm mad right now. I know I don't know it slipped your mind, but it was in my notes. I advocate for them guys too hard, man. For them guys, for Walter to do that. Shame on you, Walter. What's going on? What you got, Jimmy?
And of course, Torrance Hicks says, T. Hicks says, that's a perfect example of the difference between black and white coaches in this business. McCarty is not the first coach to abuse his influence. Absolutely. Next issue, assistant gets promoted, probably turned him in and was the play from the beginning. Possibly. Now, I want to add something for understanding purpose for you guys. Todd Licklider was the assistant coach on the staff, but he took a leave and had just recently came back.
Uh-huh.
He took a leave for mental health issues last season, had just came back.
Whoa.
So you're going to hire...
Whoa!
Now understand, Evansville, they do have a connection to Houston because the leading scorer for Evansville is a former student athlete at Klein Forest High School, and also he went and decided to do the homeschooled route as a 12th grader. And that's, what is his name, DeAndre Williams? Yeah.
Who?
You remember him? DeAndre.
He played where?
He played at Klein Forest, and he played with Satch alongside J.J. Caldwell.
I don't remember. You remember I don't know J.J. Caldwell.
He didn't even go.
Yeah.
He sit it out and didn't even want to play anymore because he played the summer circuit, went to NBPA Top 100 camp. DeAndre Williams.
Jim, help me, Jimmy. Jimmy, you just told me something. I hope this is true. You saying the coach had been suffering from mental illness and they hire him?
Well, we'll just say medical problems. We'll just say medical problems.
Okay.
And just put it up under that.
Okay.
So medical problems, and he left, and then he just had recently came back.
But Jimmy, I hope those medical problems weren't mental illness. Man, hey, man.
Well, I understand.
59 seconds.
Medical.
Jimmy, did you hear the congressman tell in the Trump hearing said, if you don't know, now you know. Go Google that, y'all.
Wow.
Jimmy, he from New York. He said Donald Trump did this, Donald Trump did this, Donald Trump did this, Donald Trump did this. Now, if you don't know, now you know, and dropped the mic and walked off the podium on you, Jimmy. You got to look him up, Jimmy.
I wonder how many other people in the room knew where they came from.
Well, guess what? All the major newspapers knew where it came from. Because they show, hey, even CNN know where it came from. They say he quoted Biggie. I said, wow. But he's from New York. He's a Democrat from New York. The man said, if you don't know, now you know. Jimmy, let's slide down Demo's back, man.
Yeah, it's time to get this thing shot. I see you out there, Bilal Badley, go Cougs. And, of course, Yolanda
Five,
Green,
too, Jimmy.
just joined us up in there. Trey Phillips, I see you. Trey say spill the beans. Jimmy, now, hey, I'm going to quote the infamous character, the mayor on the movie Do the Right Thing. Those who know don't tell, and those who tell
don't know.
Don't know. Anyway, guys.
Hold up, Jimmy. Guess what, Jimmy? You ain't looked at Jimmy. Starting 5. It's Women Rock Wednesday, player. Madonna Johnson, Makessa Carter, Trish Griggs, Lori Dawson, Angie Holcomb. Now you can go.
Boy, it's time to sip. I'm gonna go refill my Get Loose juice, boy. Getting this thing. Hey, eyes getting low, baby. It's time. Gotta get right for date night on Wednesdays. I'll see you guys tomorrow. You won't yabba dabba do this thing. Chop chop. I'm up out of here.
We'll see y'all later. This dude.
Jim Hicks, Rob Hatter. You are now tuned in to the Chop Shop. I'm Retro. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. Yeah, it's lit in the Chop Shop. Turn your dials up in the drop top. They ain't based in debate, but they keep it fact straight. Going 30 for 30. Let's do a first take on Facebook Live from 12 to 2. Rob Hatter and Jim Hicks going back and forth like Claude Ray, Skip Bayless, and Stephen Smith. From on the court, off the court, straight to the field. Not a man that steals, but I made it steal to the octagon where I fight to kill. We go face to face, then you write your will. I don't play tennis, but I bring the racket. I'm on the floor, I attack the basket, put you in the casket when I'm overlapping. Never showing mercy, cause I'm always snapping. Never showing mercy when I'm in the arena. Step into the ring, you see me as I beat him. Step into the court, I'm never backing down. Killing competition, I'm smacking down. Let me get back to the other stuff.